Okay, we should be live. What's going on, guys? Let's just make sure this is all working. Working. Okay, I think we're live. Alright, sorry, this is my first time doing this. I think we'll Okay, can I maybe that works. 1 second, guys. Alright. Okay, I think we're up and running. Alright, I think we're good. Okay, what's going on, guys? Today we're gonna be looking at some Charlie Kirk clips. Um, because unless you've been under a lock, obviously Charlie Kirk has sadly passed away about a week and a half ago, maybe a little bit more now. So he is basically, well, he was, I should say, in this situation. Uh, Being an ale, that's nice. Uh-oh. Okay, think we're just gonna ignore that for now. Yeah, let's just ignore that. Yeah, but he was basically in the situation that, or in the place that I wanted to be. Okay, some hidden lore. I'm 18, and when Charlie Kirk started Turning Point USA, he was also 18. He didn't go to college. He just started pushing for ministry as hard as he could. And then, like 13, 14 years later, he is at the place that he is now, or was. Like, I don't know how big Turning USA is. Like, I don't know what the net profit is, but it's very big. So, he's kind of in the place that I want to be in. So when I saw that he died, it sucked, and the way they did it, it wasn't necessarily bad, but when I heard that Charlie Kirk got shot, I was like, oh, that sucks. But I didn't expect him to actually be dead, because what it sounds like is he died on spot. But they kind of just said, oh, he got shot, there's hope. At least that's what it kind of felt like. But it turns out that, yeah, he was dead on spot, which for him, that's actually a very good thing. Like, it is kind of nice to know that, he wasn't there in agony, he wasn't in pain. Like 1 second he was talking to someone about some transgender violence thing, which is kind of ironic. But 1 second he was talking about transgenderness. The next second he's in heaven. And with how Charlie Kirk was, when he went to heaven, God was like, well done, my good and faithful servant. Because Charlie Kirk changed so many lives. So, today we're gonna be watching some clips. I'm gonna kind of give my opinions on them. We're gonna stick to mostly religious stuff because I know politics, but I don't know it. I feel like I don't know them enough to give my opinions on them. So today we're mostly gonna be sticking on religious clips. So let me. I think I've seen this one before, but we can stay with this one. Let me switch. Okay, that should be working. Looks good. Just take a quick look at this. Okay. Supposedly the bitrate is all messed up. Well, okay. Hopefully you guys can see this all right.
I've talked about Patriot Mobile's commitment to faith, family, and freedom. Have you made the switch yet? Support your switching is hard. It's not. Their 100% US-based customer service team can activate you in minutes. They even have a contract buyout. So go to patriotmobile.com/Kirk25.
Yeah, you guys should be able to hear this. If you can't hear it, just let me know. Hopefully the audio levels are good for my microphone in the video.
Hey Charlie, I've been watching your videos for a long time. Been a big fan of yours. One thing I will say is that I have come out here not only because I turned conservative in about 2016 with Trump's first run. I've always also been a devout atheist, and I've been proud in my beliefs with that. I find the the Bible, to be a very fictitious book. I find that it has a lot of contradictions that are not squared away by anybody that finds it, that reads it. So I'm just want to know one thing I want to get for you before we dive into that is how can we get more people of different faiths to come to the conservative movement instead of, because a lot of what I see of you is espousing on Christian virtues and to a lesser extent Jewish, but I think that there could be a lot more that we could do with ideas rather than the beliefs of religion.
Let's start with the idea of atheism, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm going to go through all of the arguments for God's existence.
Okay.
I want you to tell me if you've heard them before or if they are compelling.
Okay.
First is what's called the ontological.
I've seen this clip before, and this is honestly amazing how he does this. He basically goes down, you'll see it in a second, but he goes down, all of these different things about how God is real. Not even, he might get into Jesus a little bit, but most of it's just, proving the existence of God, which is where you kind of need to start. Because if God isn't real, then Jesus isn't real. So you have to kind of start at God, then you kind of have to go into Jesus, because, God's real. Is the Jewish God real? Is, I know the Egyptians, they had all of these weird gods. God being real is obviously a good full step, but you do have to kind of go through the list and find out, okay, God's real, but which one is real? Or how many gods are real? Because some people believe that there's a God of water and a God of, earth and all this weird stuff. There's all this, last airbender stuff. But it's crazy how he does this, because when I'm just explaining God to someone and how he's real and why he's real, I kind of I say some things. I'm like, oh well, if God isn't real, how come this? How come that? How Charlie Kirk does it is he goes down every argument. He uses all these Greek words. It's honestly amazing how much he remembers and how easy he spits it out. So I'll unpause this, but it's honestly amazing.
Argument for God, which ontos comes from the Greek. It's the Greek word for being.
Sure.
So the highest conception of human beings, we can only conceptualize that which is real. And so the highest conception of our own, combined wisdom is God. I think this is the weakest argument for God, to be perfectly honest.
Right, and I'll agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a proof that on an ontological view of God.
Another cool thing is here he's actually being honest. Obviously I'm a Christian myself, but a lot of Christians, they want you to believe that God is real so much that even the weaker arguments, they're like, oh, this is real. How are you so dumb? Like, a lot of times they go to straight up insulting, which is kind of starting to go to the liberal area. Because a lot of times when their arguments get ruined, they just start, insulting and saying, oh, you're a bigot or, whatever. But the nice thing is, here he's actually saying, yeah, this is not the strongest argument. It's an argument, but it's not the strongest. So he's being honest and not just saying, oh, well, this is the only argument you need. Like, you're an idiot if you don't believe this. So I would admit that's another cool thing about him is he's very honest about it.
The second of which is called the cosmological view of God, coming from the Greek word cosmos, which means all-encompassing creation. Sure. If you look around with creation, there are 15 fine-tuned measurements that if anyone went off by a micron, our entire existence would not exist. The tilt of the Earth, our proximity to the sun, our configuration of oxygen to carbon dioxide. In fact, we can look at the probability of our existence. It's 1 in multiple trillions that all of this would come together at an exact time, let alone consciousness. Let alone human beings, let alone our DNA.
Sure, I want to counter that with the fact that there are...
This is an argument that a lot of atheists just kind of, it's almost like they try to dismiss it. And personally, I think it's just because of how true it is. Because, yeah, if one measurement is off, everything basically just crumbles. Because the basic atheist argument is like, two rocks hit each other, whatever, and it becomes a singularity, and it keeps expanding, and then collapsing, expanding, and then eventually it becomes this. But the thing is, the atheists believe in, like, billions of years, and I don't even know how long it is, because it feels like every couple years, they add a couple billions. So I don't even know how long they believe we've been here, but the chances of let alone the Earth being the way it is for one day, that is insane. But the fact that it's lived as long as it has, the fact that we are still able to do the same things, that we're able to walk around, that we're able to, make economical systems, and all, the fact that this has been the way it is for so long, like, that is not by chance. Like, that's not by probability. It's like, I don't know. It's a good argument.
Millions upon millions of galaxies with millions upon millions of their own stars, with millions and millions of their own planets. If we didn't, I don't think that if this Earth was not in this exact space as it exists now, I think that is also not compelling, because we would have found existence on in another location in the universe if it was not just in this space.
I don't have enough faith to believe that, but let me continue onwards. Then there is what's called the teleological argument for God. That comes from the Greek word telos, which means, we get the word telescope. It means goal, destination, or purpose. This here goes to an argument that for every cause, for every effect, there must be a cause. So, for example, we can agree that space, time, and matter exists. We agree.
Yes.
Therefore, definitionally, something that is outside of space, time, and matter must have made space, time, and matter exist.
Not necessarily. We can. Well,
then it's against the laws of reason.
Not because there could always be a universe that existed before our Big Bang. It's not. We could have existed with space, but no matter, in a very tiny point. That's what basically the Big Bang was. So I don't see how that disproves atheism. And it's more, atheism is more of a, I don't believe God exists. Why is this compelling?
Well, I'm going to go through two more proofs of God, and then we'll finish. Then there's what's called the column proof of time, which is thanks to Albert Einstein, we know that time is actually a real thing that can be traversed with enough speed. And in order for time to exist, something timeless must have created it. Finally, there's something called the axiological view of God. I don't know if you know this one. Axios comes from the word, the Greek word judgment. Axios and judgment mean
Sure,
the same
sure.
thing, which basically means that every human being has some form of right and wrong embedded in us. For example, when the Nuremberg trials were happening, the Nazis were not able to say, well, it was just the laws of the land. They actually appealed to a higher power, saying
Right.
that every one of us had some good or evil within us. Out of
Okay, so
Yeah, that's a great argument. Probably one of my favorites is, like the moral compass thing. Because, if I were to go to 1,000 people and I were to say, would it be bad if I kicked a little baby on the street? Unless you're a psychopath, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's a bad thing. Why do we all agree it's a bad thing? You could say, oh, the government says it's a bad thing. Oh, tradition says it's a bad thing. Our society says it's a bad thing. But humans are not the all-knowing. Humans, according to atheists, were just balls of flesh that just kind of roam the world. Why would anything we say be true? Why should I automatically believe what these 1,000 people say? Because just why? They're humans just like me. Just because 1,000 humans say one thing doesn't mean it's automatically correct. So it might not, people say it's bad to murder people. But again, what law are we going by? Are we just going because, oh, well, that's how I feel? Because if God isn't real, then what are feelings? It makes you feel good, okay? So it makes me feel good to, attack someone. If I feel good attacking someone, and there's no real way of knowing if that's actually good or bad, then why not I just go ahead and attack someone? So it's a very good argument. And I feel like a lot of times atheists, they kind of just, they either dismiss it or they try saying, oh, because of social standards, which it's true, I guess. Like, there's some tribes of people, in the past and heck even present, that they don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that doesn't mean anything. Just because some people think it's fine, it doesn't change anything, right? So, and it also kind of proves my point. Because I'm thinking how to structure this. So if I'm saying that if God isn't real, it doesn't matter what you do. And then these people go ahead and say, oh, well, social standards says you can't. Social standards. Why do I need to listen to those? If, life is just about self-pleasure, then why would I listen to them? If I have no reason to do the right thing, then why would I? Why should I? I might do the right thing and it costs me. I might have to, let's say the right thing is to, I don't know, give your fund $100. I do it. Now what? I lost $100. Sure, oh, I feel kind of good, but I prefer to not lose $100. There's a reason we do these things, because we have a moral compass indoctrinated into us. God gave us basically his morals. So it's a very, very good argument.
that doesn't. I mean, that kind of disproves, right? I mean, if the Nazis were able to point to something outside of themselves and say, hey, this is the reason why we're doing this
They
crap.
didn't. No, the point is
Okay.
the Nazis
Okay.
didn't. Is that the
Yeah.
people doing the trial
Okay.
did. Meaning the Nazis were not able to
Oh,
excuse
okay.
that.
Okay.
So out of all those proofs of God, what if any of them are persuasive to you?
None.
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 Okay. So then what, if you look at a human being and you look at the improbability of our, how we are put together, do you believe that we are largely an accident of multi-billions of years of evolution?
Yes. How do we know? How do we not know that there's? How do we know that there isn't something that's identical to us on another?
And the funny thing to me about people that believe this, oh, well, just an accident. I'd pay to see one of these people tell their kids, if they even have kids, to tell their kids, oh, well, science says that you're an accident. Like, no, you're not going to tell your kids that. Do you know why? Because you have a moral compass and you realize that's not okay. And also, it's just playing out not true. Man, it's just ridiculous.
Planets somewhere that we haven't encountered yet. It's just a skeptic in me that's thinking that way. That says, hey, maybe there's something out there that we haven't contacted yet that is on in another galaxy or another planet or something that we just don't know about.
Or maybe there isn't.
Okay.
So the improbability, though, of our existence and the Earth and oxygen and carbon and nitrogen and all of it together, you don't marvel at a human being being able to heal itself when it's cut or grow to a...
No, because we're not the only beings on Earth that can do that. There's a lot of people.
Well, we are the only ones that can reason, though.
Okay.
Do you marvel at our capacity to reason it? Even the ability for mammals or reptiles to reproduce life. You don't see any intelligent design behind it.
None.
You just see it as
it's a consequence of...
Did you know that simply choosing products from Israel can have a big impact on real people's lives? For so
of natural selection and evolution over millions of years.
So we both have faith.
Okay.
I would argue you have a lot more faith than I do. You have a lot more blind faith to believe that everything around you, love, joy, peace, sadness.
Yeah, there was this thing called I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. I think that's Frank Tulloch, I think. But just the title, it is kind of funny because the thing about, believing in science, even though science doesn't tell us anything, humans say what they think science is. Give me a sec. Yeah, but... Well, I just completely lost my... Yeah, so scientists just say what we think science is. Right? I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, so these scientists, they try coming up with all these formulas, and they try dating stuff, which the date of some things gets higher every year by like billions and all that stuff. So it's funny to me that these people are like, oh, this is 100% how it is. The Earth is exactly 14 billion, 300 million, and 200 years old, or something like that. And then 5 years later, the scientists are like 300 billion years old. And then everyone's like, oh, it is exactly 300 billion, this number. And then a few years later, it changes again. Like, how you have to have a lot of faith to believe in something that doesn't even stay the same. New discoveries come out every year, and they're constantly changing. One day, this fossil is 100 million years old. The next day, it's 10 million. The next day, it's 600 billion or just something stupid. So why do these people believe in science even though science is constantly changing? With the Bible, with God, first of all, like, you don't have to make up a bunch of stuff. You don't have to come up with all these things. You'll look around you. You look how perfect and beautiful everything is. Like, if you don't look at people, if you just look, like, you look at your refrigerator and you're like, wow, a human built that. If we were just random bits of mass, then we wouldn't be able to build things that function like that. Like, I have a refrigerator right here. It's kind of out of the screen right now. You might be able to hear it. But I'm looking at it, it's got 2 doors. It's got a little bit of color. Like, the door itself is like silver. The handles are black. The handles are curved. You got your water dispenser, your ice dispenser. And it probably sounds like I'm just speaking a bit retarded right now, right? But when you truly think about it, it is amazing that some human, probably in like China or something, made this. And it's getting mass produced. Because some man at some point of time was like, okay, let's stop, having our food go bad. Let's stop, putting our food in cold water to keep it go bad. Let's make an actual big box and put food inside. Like, that in itself, a refrigerator, a fridge, is proof that God exists. Like, that's how easy it is to realize. And the issue is, I don't want to, like, sound like I'm talking about the Matrix and all that, but people have been indoctrinated. They've kind of, they hear all this stuff at school, you know, from kindergarten. Nowadays, from kindergarten, like Gen Alpha, they're getting taught all of these, you know, just stupid things. They're having, like, sex educational and kindergarten education. Like, all of this stuff, they're getting taught at a young age. So, of course, when they get older, they're going to believe it all. And the issue is, unless you want to learn about how life actually is, you don't. And what I mean by that is a lot of these college kids, I love these people. But the issue is, they aren't trying to find truth. These people, they aren't trying to find what life is actually about. And if they were, would they find it? I'm not entirely sure. But the issue is, a lot of people, they aren't even open to the idea. Their parents told them, their friends told them, and now the stupid professors are going around saying, oh, this is how it is, this is how it is. You know, if someone says anything else, they're idiots and they're bigots and basically every swear word you can think of. So they are in a place where they aren't even considering other ideas. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be super open-minded. But what I am saying is, just because you were born with something, getting taught to you your entire life, doesn't mean that that's automatically correct. Because humans, you know, whether you're Christian, atheist, Jewish, you know, whatever, everybody knows that humans are idiots. Like, humans do stupid things. Humans are not always right. So why do you automatically listen to a bunch of random humans? Like, you need to at least look at the options, okay? Even if you're a Christian right now, and you were born as a Christian, that's cool and all, but I still don't think that you should just accept God just because everyone tells you to. No, look at God, okay? Find all the evidence. Do you believe in God? Oh, you do? Then now you look for the other religions. Look at all the religions and find out which one you think is the most believable. And you may not even get to that point. And what I mean is, you might just start looking at religions, and then God speaks to you. God might tell you, hey, you know, like the Christian God, which that's who I believe. The Christian God might tell you, hey, you know, I'm Leo. Like, good done. I don't even know what I just said. Good job, son. Good job, daughter. I'm happy that you're actually trying to take some time and to know me. Because I grew up.
Is all just a construct of neurons firing.
I didn't even know my earbuds could do that. But yeah, I grew up. From, you know, like my entire life, I've been Christian. I would go to church, go to Sunday school. Yeah, I do all this, you know, Christian stuff. Okay, side note, I'm very sick right now. So that's probably why my voice sounds all deep and raspy. Just side note. That was a voice crack. It kind of ruins what I was about to say, but it's kind of cool being sick sometimes because your voice is just all deep and you can actually sound kind of cool. But, yeah, ever since I was a young child, I was Christian. I'd go to I go to VBS. And for you people don't know what that is, that's Vacation Bible School, and you'd put on plays, and there was one play, if you know the Pharaoh story, like Moses and Pharaoh, in this play we did, there was like the song, and I was on the guitar. It was fun. But, yeah, like, from a young age, I've been a Christian. Everyone's always telling me God's real, Jesus is real, which now I believe. But as a younger kid, I believed it, but not in the way I should have. I didn't look for it. I kind of just accepted it. Then, the older I got, I started kind of walking away. Not on purpose, per se, but I just had, I never felt God. I didn't feel like God's ever spoken to me. Then, I go on a mission trip. Buddy invites me on a mission trip. God actually speaks to me. I'm looking for God. I'm searching for God. And he speaks to me. He finds me. Seek and you shall receive. Knock and it will be open to you. If you look for God, I think I just misquoted that. If you look for God, he will find you. God isn't hiding only for the toughest warriors to find. If you look for God, in the matter of time, he will come to you. God loves when his children seek after him. So, my prayer is just for these college students. That battery's on now? Yeah, my prayer for these college students are just for them to seek God. Even if they don't believe God at all, if they just would at least look at the options. Alright? Just to see what's going on. Instead of just accepting what everyone's been telling them for, 20, 22, 23 years. So, okay, I'll unpause this. I gotta get my little computer on the charger here.
In your brain.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So do you believe that we are just limited to our five senses?
No, I think even science has said that there can be like a sixth sense of...
What is that sixth sense?
Like a sixth sense that can be aware of what's surrounding the body. That, like, I can know that there's another person next to me, or there's a microphone in front of me. I can sense that. I don't need to have my eyes... Or I could be blind and I could still know that was there. I mean, I didn't need... I use more than five senses. Science has told us that for decades, that we have more than five
What do you
senses.
think happens when you die?
Nothing. Our electronic impulses just stop firing and
Let me ask you,
nothingness.
Yeah, the people that believe that nothing happens when you die, you better truly believe that, because that is a risk. Sure, I'm saying, you don't want to turn to God just so you don't, go to hell, but yeah, if you're correct and God isn't real, that is just depressing. Like, what do you even do? What do you even do with your life if you know that you're just gonna disappear? Why don't you just go out and get drunk and hook up with as many people as you can? It's just like a sad way to live. That's why it's hard for me to be friends with people that are atheists. I try, and I have some, but it's hard because I know that these people, they have no hope. They don't have hope for anything, because when they die, in their mind, they're just gonna disappear. Everyone's gonna forget them. They're just gone. So it's a sad way to live.
Most important question.
Okay.
Do you hope you're wrong?
Not really. No, I mean, I've got this.
You don't desire an afterlife.
I consider this life as an atheist the more compelling than even when I was younger and when I was religious, because I think that this is the only life we have. We need to do with it what we can.
Yeah, something I've noticed with a lot of these people is I feel like they were always Christians before. This is like a whole separate thing. I won't get into it too long. But these people are... Yeah, these people are, like, most of the time it feels like they were Christians. And what I can about guarantee what happened here is he was going to church. His family was taking him to church. And he said something he wasn't supposed to. Or he started acting a certain way. Or something. Something happens. The church just messes it up. And then he walks away from God. The issue is a lot of times that the people that used to be Christians and now are not, it's a revenge story. They're like, oh, this church. If this church is going to treat me like this, first of all, God's not real. But second of all, I'm going to attack the church. I'm going to attack God. I'm going to try to prove them wrong. I'm going to come up with all these arguments, all of these reasons why God is not real. And to me, that's not a good way to live your life. It's not just to me. That is a bad way to live. Always just seeking revenge, trying to prove everyone wrong. And also, the fact that this guy doesn't even... Like, I don't want to sound like, I'm picking on this guy. This guy, he's pretty well informed. Like, I'm not saying he's dumb or anything. But the fact that this guy, like, he doesn't even want an afterlife, like, why would you not want an afterlife? Like, if it's hell, then okay, I get it, but, like, to me, I would think you would at least want an afterlife. You may not believe there was one. This guy obviously doesn't believe that there is an afterlife, but why wouldn't you want it? Why wouldn't you want to go to heaven? I don't know. I guess part of it is because this guy may not be telling the truth. Because if he was telling the truth, then that kind of breaks his argument a little bit. So, I honestly don't know. That's just crazy to me.
The best that we can do it, and it's, like I said, it's just the one chance we got. We don't have an afterlife. We don't have anything after that. So our goal is to become the best people that we can possibly be in that one chance that we get.
Okay, I will be stunned. So you hope that there's no eternal judgment and you never see your loved ones after you die?
No, not really.
I hope you all internalize just how dark that is, how sad that is. And it's fine, I'm not trying to criticize you. We as Christians have hope that we are going to see our loved ones again, and that we will be in heaven, and that we will be in perfect peace, and that this is not it. In fact, there's something even better awaiting us. So I hope one day that you do seek to find something higher and better, that this is not all for us in our existence. Thank you so much.
Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he basically said exactly what I said. Like, it's a very dark way to live. Right? Like, he doesn't even want there to be an afterlife. He doesn't want to see his family members again. To me, that's just a very, very dark way to live. Okay, we got Jesus with tolerance to debate. Let's see what this is about.
Tacos at Zaxby's? You know it. They took their famous chicken fingers and
Are you supposed to be Jesus? Is that your whole thing?
I am Jesus. Thank you, everybody.
That's awfully heretical, but okay.
Well, I heard you kept saying my name, so I wanted to show up.
Okay.
I'm busy trying to save the planet from this apocalypse going on. You know what I mean? Jesus H. Christ, but you can just call me Josh. All right, why don't you ask me the questions? I'm sure you have plenty of them.
Okay, what's the Hebrew word?
This guy, I'm sure what he's about to say is going to be super blasphemous. But I'm not going to lie, this is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm sure what he's about to say is probably going to be, woke Jesus. There's this Babylonian Bee video. They make like comedy sketches. And they have a couple called Woke Jesus, and those things are funny.
For father.
Man, let me tell you something. Abba.
I'm sorry?
Abba.
That's the Greek word for father.
Yeah.
Man, I keep on pausing it, but that was about the most ghetto way. He was like, man, let me tell you something. Like, this is like ghetto Jesus.
Greek, whatever. Point I'm trying to say is this, man.
Yeah, you don't even make a good Jesus.
Whatever.
What language did Jesus speak?
Aramaic.
Okay, tell me one thing
but
in
you
Aramaic.
have to understand, man, I have to come here to speak to you now. You don't speak Aramaic, otherwise you and me would be speaking Aramaic.
Oh, okay,
I have to speak this kind of dumbed down stuff for you.
The enemy has come to lie, steal, cheat, and destroy. What did Jesus say?
I said love your neighbor.
Wrong.
And how is that working out, by the way?
The enemy has come to lie,
I'm pretty sure
steal...
I said love your
hold on
neighbor,
a second. You're not even a good
God,
Jesus. It's one of the most.
and love
It's one of
yourself.
the most popular verses in the Bible. John 10:10. The enemy has come
I
to
didn't
lie,
write the
steal, cheat,
Bible.
and destroy.
Who wrote that thing, anyways?
I have
did
come
not
to
write
give
the
life
Bible.
and life more abundantly. Okay, so you don't even know the scriptures, and you're pretending to be Jesus. But tell me why you're here.
I am Jesus, and I didn't write the scriptures. I lived them. And the
But you
main
can't
thing
even
I want
remember
to
what
tell
you
you
said?
is this: I said love your neighbor and love everybody. That's
Yeah.
something that you guys really need to figure
Well,
out.
hold on a
And I
second.
know I got some of my fan club
Let's
here.
hold
with
on a
the-
second. Hold
First,
on. What are those two verses?
My name was
love your
Yeshua. Let's
love
get
your neighbor as yourself. Where is that in the Bible?
I don't know. I didn't write it.
Leviticus 19. Hold on.
I didn't write the Bible.
I thought you're Jesus.
I'm Jesus.
You know
it's
the Torah,
about
right?
me, not by me.
Hold on a
Look,
second.
The point is this, my friend.
Jesus,
I said love
Jesus
your
was
neighbor and love everybody.
You're
I don't
backpedaling
know.
so fast because you don't even know the Torah as a pretend
same
Jesus.
Thing I was saying
Hold
the
on a
first
second.
time. You see, nobody believed me the first time I was here, and then you fucking crucified me. I was just trying to.
Man, this is just chaotic. When Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, he was very stern, he was very honest, but I can tell you, he did not act like this. He was not like, yo, my brothers, look at this stupid Pharisee right here. Like, no, Jesus wasn't doing that. And obviously, this guy, this is very stupid for him to be doing. He's probably not even a Christian, and maybe he is. But if he is, God's got some work to do with him. But man, this guy's got some problems.
Say this, man. Love everybody. Love your neighbor. Stop killing everybody.
But you don't even know the verse.
Genocides are bad. How about that? You
Yeah,
want to put that in the Bible? You can add that
I
as
agree.
well.
So, okay, so you want to talk about
killing people who are just sitting there. That would be probably a good idea.
Are you trying to connect with Israel Hamas? Is that your thing?
Pretty much the whole world at this point. We got a lot of issues. Kendrick, Drake, and what else is going on around here? Look,
okay, so
I will
wait,
say this: they not like us, and this is pretty obvious. But I will. Look, the point I'm trying to make to you. What was your name again? Charlie? Chadley?
I thought you're Jesus and everything.
Chadwick?
Why the heck did this guy just mention Drake and Kendrick? That'd be the funniest thing. You never see Jesus, okay? But then one day he walks up to you. You're like there praising him and all of that, and he's just like, Kendrick Lamar, they not like us. Like, well, what is this guy talking about? Like, he's being publicly humiliated right now.
No, man, I'm too busy. I got an actual job to do.
Oh, yeah, so you believe in a God who's too busy,
if I were like you, I'd be able to kind of sit here and, pretend that
you're
the
important. Worst Jesus I've ever seen.
I'm the only Jesus. And I will say this,
only Jesus,
I am the only one. Matter of fact, and I live in all of you, and thank you for making time for me, by the way. It's been a while. Look, I would say this. If you really are a fan of mine and you're in my fan club, just be a nicer person, man.
Well, where does it say to be nice in the Bible?
It's pretty much all over
there.
That was kind of the point.
What does the word nice mean in Latin?
The point I was trying to
make. It means ignoramus. Where does it say? Wait, in the Can you tell me the Ten Commandments?
How about
Let's go through the Ten Commandments. Want to do it together? Since you're Jesus, let's go. Right. What are they?
Don't be an asshole. Number one.
Okay, hold on.
How about number 1 through 10? Don't be an asshole.
Wait,
hold on.
No, actually, that's not one of the Ten Commandments. I am the Lord that you delivered you from Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall have no other graven images. You shall never.
So, this is just me being kind of annoyed, but the funny thing is, he's obviously just trying to swale here. But in the Bible, heck, even the King James Version, they say ass. Ass means like a donkey. So he's in this context, he's talking about a donkey hole. What is this guy even talking about? And also, he's not even letting Charlie talk. Obviously there was tons of people that disagreed with Jesus, but he'd let them talk. He wouldn't just talk over them. Man, this is wild. And the sad thing is this guy's actually kind of funny. Like, if this guy, were to do just like normal comedy, then this guy could probably be something. He could probably be a good comic, because he is kind of funny. But this guy decides to go on a college campus, go to an extremely smart guy that's just going to debunk the crap out of him and pretend to be Jesus. Man, well, that's just sad. You just got to play for these people.
Take the Lord's name in vain. You shall honor your mother and father, so may live long in the land in which you are in. You shall honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You shall not murder. You shall not steal. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall.
1, 2, and 3.
Oh, wait,
we got a
you
sinner.
don't like the Decalogue because you don't know the Decalogue.
Give it up for the sinner, everybody. Give it up.
Was he just bidding off sinners? Bo was like saying it like, like when people are bidding, oh, do I heal a 10? Do I heal a 10? Oh, 15. Do I heal a 15? Bo was doing that for sinners. He's bidding off his own children. That's this guy. I don't know about this one.
For the sinner,
All right.
everybody. Good job.
Thank you
All
for
right.
you are the worst Jesus. You don't know the 10 Commandments. You don't know anything. So
Do
thank
you
you
know?
very much. You're
Okay,
done.
but you're a
Thank you.
Christian, but you don't love people.
No,
so I
actually,
don't think you're doing the
love,
job.
Hold on a second. I love all people. What do you think about the 1 million abortions that happen every single year in this country? Is that a genocide to you?
No, what's a genocide is what's going on in Palestine right now.
Hold on.
That's a
Don't
genocide.
backpedal. You're the king of the
I'm
world.
not
is what you're.
backpedaling. I'm right here in
Hold
front
on.
of you.
Let's just have moral clarity. Do you think 1 million abortions a year is a genocide?
Let me ask you this. Do you think 15,000 children is a genocide?
No, it's not even close. It's a tragedy.
Oh,
it's
it's
not a
not even
genocide.
close.
Hold on. Let's
Okay,
get our.
I think this guy doesn't know what a genocide is. What do you
Hold
guys
on.
think?
A genocide is an intentional killing of people to exterminate them.
That sounds
correct?
about right.
Okay, so
Sounds like what's going on in Palestine right now.
well,
Am
you
I
mean
not
it's
right?
an active war that Gaza started?
No, that's a genocide.
Let's
Let's
take
look
a
at
step
the
back.
let's
How
look at the
did- how did this
apartheid that's
war
been going
start?
on there since the 1940s.
How
or
did
before
this
that,
war
when
start?
Zionism, which is a form of European settler colonialism, which I'm
did
sure
this
you're
war-
a big fan of.
How
I can
did this
tell
war
that.
start?
How did this war start?
Yes.
Well, do you want to take it all the way back to the early 1900s?
No. On October 6th,
And we might
was
as well
Israel.
take it back. Tell you what, I was there for a lot of wars. You know,
What?
when I was around, there was a war going on.
On
There was an occupation
on
going on.
October 6th,
Matter of fact, when I was
was
around,
Israel
there
at
was an
war with
occupation
Hamas.
going on. Do you know who was occupying my home when I was around the first time?
You mean like
The Romans,
the
right?
shoddy Seattle apartment that you grew up in when you played
Romans?
Jesus on the afternoon?
The Romans? You know who the Romans are, right? The people you wish you were descended from, but you're really not?
Okay, not even sure what you mean by that. I'm asking you a question. On October 6th, was Israel actively at war with Hamas?
On this day right now, what is going on in Rafah?
Hold on, just answer the question, man.
Why don't you answer that question?
I'm happy to. Israel is
Go ahead.
rightfully invading Rafah to go kill.
Right.
See, this guy is just not even able to have a conversation. And it pisses me off when you ask someone a question and they just give you another question as if that's an answer. It's one of those tactics that petty people use where instead of answering the question, they just give you another one because they don't want to answer that one. Because either they don't have a good answer or the answer is just going to prove the other person right. And this isn't just politics. This isn't just religion. Like, about any conversation. If you ask someone a question and they ask you a question back, you can already tell that the argument is just going to be crap. It's just bad.
How is it rightfully?
Hold on, because I'm getting there. You have to
Go
answer
ahead.
the question. On October 6th, was Israel at war with Hamas?
I'm asking you a question. What's going on right now in Palestine?
I've answered the question. First of all, in
No, I don't think you answered it
Gaza,
correctly.
not in Palestine, in Gaza, which is a strip south of Israel, Israel is rightfully invading Rafah to kill every last Hamas terrorist. Why? Because you.
That's not rightful when you kill a bunch of
You're
children.
not answering the question, so I'll answer it for you. You know what happened on October 7th? A dress rehearsal to Holocaust 2.0
Oh, wow.
is what
You are
happened on
living in a
October
fantasy
7th.
land.
And
what happened before that?
Hold on, no.
What
Stop
happened on
moral
October
equivocating
6th?
and stop trying to
What
justify.
happened on October 6th?
On October 6th, nothing happened.
Oh, really?
You know what happened? It was the day before one of the most holy days on the Jewish calendar.
What happened
Oh, I'm
in
sorry, you're right. Something did
Jerusalem
happen
on
on October 6th. You know what October 6th happened? All the Arab terrorists were getting ready to go kill babies and women in Israel
Oh, is
to
that
go
right?
invade rock concerts, kibbutzes, and
And
nurseries
where are they right? Where are
and go
those
slit
where are
little
those,
babies' throats.
Where are those Arab babies now?
Well, I'm sorry, Arab babies?
Yeah,
You mean the
where
Jewish
are they at
babies?
now? No, I'm talking about the Arab ones now.
Well, hold on. You're talking about
How many of them
civilians
died?
that
How
have.
many of them died and are dying right
You mean
now while you're
civilians that
sitting
have
there with your
got-
microphone on?
They brought it upon themselves, man.
I don't think so. And
Well-
that's not something I support.
Well, hold
so
on.
I will say this in closing, because this guy is a buffoon and definitely not a fan of mine or has represent anything of mine. I
Well,
will say this.
he doesn't even know the Ten
point
Commandments.
I'm trying to say is to love everybody. That's it. Just stop killing everybody. Love everybody. Maybe you and me can get a kosher hot dog
What-
after this. I think it would be great.
What is-
love your neighbor, and they not like us. That's all I got to say.
Love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19.
This is like Gen Z Jesus. Jesus would not like us. That's so, well. And another, argument tip is if somebody just walks away or just starts talking when you're talking and ignoring everything you say, the argument is dead. Like, if we go back a little bit here.
Me can get a kosher hot dog
What-
after this. I think it would be great.
What is-
love your neighbor, and they not like us. That's all I gotta say.
Also, the word love is just, it's overused and misused. It's overused when it's misused, I should say. The word love, if it's used correctly, it can't be misused. But the issue is, what people try acting like love is love. If I have a child, okay, and I don't know, at school, he takes someone's lunch. What these people try saying is, oh, just tell him, just support him. That's not love. These people think that love is just accepting people, no matter what they are and what they do. Because countless times I hear these people, they're like, do you think gay is right? Do you think transgenderism is right? Instead of saying, yes, I think it's okay, or no, I don't think it's okay, they say, just love everybody. Which, first of all, gives off the impression that you don't support it. But also, that's not what love is. If I have a best friend and he does something messed up, I shouldn't go and be like, oh, I support you. No, I say, I'm saying this out of love, but you gotta stop that. And that's what real love is. It's not supporting people, but it's being there for them when they are doing stuff and letting them know that they shouldn't be doing that stuff. That doesn't mean you yell at them. I don't go to my friend and be like, bro, that's messed up. What is wrong with you? You're an idiot. Like, no, you don't do that. But you tell them, hey, that is not okay. I'm saying this because I love you and I believe in who you are. I don't know what that was. But if you are going around saying, I support you, when someone's doing something that's obviously not okay, that's not love. That's just, that's like just being comforting, I guess. It's not love. We can see what he says at the end here.
Love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19, Deuteronomy 3-5. Hear, O Israel, I am the Lord your God. Love the Lord your God with all their heart, soul, strength, and mind. He's Jesus, but not a very good one. Okay, let's get on up here. Who wants to come next? Yes. It's funny. These guys pretend to be Jesus walking around. They don't even know the Bible. It's hilarious. Yes.
Yeah, if you're gonna pretend to be Jesus, you gotta know the Bible front and back. Okay, is the God of the Bible cruel to his people? Let's look at this.
Charlie, in order to be saved, do I need to be baptized?
The Bible is split on that.
What do you think?
Well, the one person that we know that entered eternal life, which was Jesus on the cross and the criminal next to him on the cross, was guaranteed eternal life and was not baptized.
That's true. That's true.
So, what do you have to say about that?
Here's what I have to say about that. The thief on the cross. Sure, he didn't get baptized.
Okay.
But I will argue that the thief on the cross was under the old covenant by the time that he died, because Jesus Christ had not yet died yet. He had not yet been buried or resurrected yet.
Sure.
And so, therefore, I believe the thief wasn't under the new covenant yet. And so, and
Could be
because
true.
Jesus Christ was on earth, he had the power, he had the ability to forgive sins while he was on earth.
So yeah, I guess the hypothetical is this. If somebody is on their deathbed and they're 91 years old and they give their life to Jesus and they haven't yet been baptized, do you think God would deny them entrance into eternal life?
I think this. I believe
Just answer the question.
in the scriptures, such as John 3:5.
You have to be born first, of course, in your mother's womb, and born again by the water of baptism. I know it's the discourse with Nicodemus in John 3. I'm aware, but just answer the question, because I agree with all the scriptures you'll cite with baptism, but
Give that reason. Give the hypothetical again.
someone's on their deathbed, they're 91 years old,
91 years old. All
and
right.
they legitimately give their life to Christ.
What does that look like?
The sinner's prayer, meaning it, believing it. I am a sinner. I'm broken. I live my life in distance from God, in sin. I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior. He's entered into my life. The Holy Spirit comes. Full transformation, but there's really not an opportunity to baptize that person. Would God deny them entrance into heaven?
So there's no opportunity for baptism, giving their life to Christ, Oh wow, putting me on the tough spot here. Here's what I'm gonna say, Charlie. This man, this hypothetical 91-year-old man who's on his deathbed, had his whole life to figure out whether or not he wanted to live for Christ. And for him to decide, just last minute, actually, I am scared of hell. I don't think it's enough.
Okay, well, I
What do you
disagree.
think?
Well, because again, I'll just go back to the one example we know of the criminal next to Jesus that lived a terrible life. He believed Christ was the Lord, and he was guaranteed eternal life. And so, again, it's not up for me to determine; it's up for God to determine. I believe that mercy is accessible for all people at all times, regardless of their stage of life. But so I have a question. Tell me about your shirt. Is that a theological statement?
Yeah, that is it's a tough question. I believe that you don't need to get baptized, but it is a command. So, baptism is obviously something you're supposed to do. And in the hypothetical they had, 91-year-old man on his deathbed turns to Christ. Jesus says that he won't deny anyone. But even though, sure, you could say, oh, why is he just now becoming a Christian? But if he has a genuine faith, experience, then I believe that God will let him go to heaven. Because if he has a genuine experience, but then he denies him, that he'd be denying one of his children. Jesus says, if you repent and believe, then you will go to heaven. So baptism is obviously a command. If you were a Christian all of your life and you never got baptized, then you're disobeying a command. So you should get baptized. But if you don't get baptized, then I don't think that's going to stop you from getting into heaven. I mean, it is a tough question. The thing about the Bible is there's some things that are very obvious. You have to repent. You have to believe in Jesus. You have to, disciple people and bring people to Christ. That stuff's very obvious. But there are some questions like that it's hard. There's stuff like once saved, always saved. There's predestination. There's stuff like that. The issue is there's just so many points on each side that I turn to one side on issues like that, but it literally could just go either way. I don't like when Christians say, oh no, this is how it is. If you die, if you were saved once, you're always going to be saved. I'm 100% about that. When people act like that, it kind of annoys me, because if you believe that, that's fine, but it's not definitive. Because the Bible doesn't plain out say, if someone is saved, they will always be saved. Because those things on either side, you can't be plucked from my hand. But also, Paul has said stuff saying, if you disown me, I will disown you. You have to acknowledge Jesus. But the point is, there's stuff that can be taken from both sides that are both kind of true. So I believe that if you don't get baptized, I believe you will go to heaven. But I'm just not 100% sure on it. And it's one of those cases where you just need to do it. Like, God commands us, so we obviously should. So it's one of those things where, just get baptized. Just get baptized so you don't have to take any chances. So that's just kind of my view on it.
Or
the shirt.
Yeah.
This shirt.
It says "You are enough."
You are enough. Exactly.
Wait.
It's not. I think the company that makes it is a faith-based company.
Yeah.
And this is just my message to everyone here: is that you are enough.
What does that mean, though? It's like very new agey. I'm not.
Okay, gotcha.
Enough for what?
It's a company that is faith-based.
No, I know, but what does the statement mean? Enough, like, I don't quite understand the statement.
Right. It's to help suicide prevention.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and so by saying someone is enough, you are enough. Like, just the fact that you matter, that you're alive, and that alone makes you worthy of value.
Super noble cause. Do you think it's effective?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I've had
Yeah.
lots of interactions on this campus while wearing
Yeah.
this hoodie, and it's been great. It's been great.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
All right.
I actually think that that's the reason we have so much suicide, is those sort of messages, actually.
Gotcha.
I think that self-esteem actually drives people to think of themselves more than duty and obligation, and they look inwardly and not externally. But I know you mean well, so I don't want to bash you for that. But that's
Yeah, that is a good point. So when I see a show like that, it depends on what they mean by "you are enough," because we are not enough. If they say "you are enough" as in you are enough to be accepted by God, that's true. But you are enough, you are enough. So how she's going about it is you're focusing on yourself, which obviously that's not a good thing. Like, you don't want to be focused on yourself, because that's where you get egotistical and, yeah, like he says, suicides. You are enough, though. It's like you are enough to... God cares about you enough. You are enough to be accepted by God. But we are not enough without God. I don't have enough. It sounds kind of strange, but I don't have enough to go to heaven on my own. There's a one way to God. That is Jesus. And I'm not enough on my own. So it's like, if you look at it in a certain way, it's true. But the issue is when people look at it, they're not going to think about it the way I'm thinking about it. Because I'm kind of having to scrape, trying to look in the crevices, if you will, trying to find truth in it. But you are enough, but kind of like what he's saying, yeah, it is kind of an egotistical way to look at it. Oh, I am enough. I can do good things. I can do great things. But no, you are not enough. You are sinful. You have bad desires. Your flesh is weak. But with God, you are enough. With God, you can do good things. So, that's just kind of the way I think about it. We can see what he says here at the end.
why I was interested, because it's not a biblical thing to say people are enough, actually. Jesus is enough. You are not enough, actually.
That's true. That's true.
So that's why I wanted to just ask you about that. In fact, we're far from being enough. We're sinners that should be in eternal damnation, and only thanks to the blood of Christ are we given eternal life. But I know you mean well, so I don't mean to bash on your good parade there.
Awesome. Well, for now, I concede my point to you, Charlie.
God bless you, man.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Charlie was kind of saying what I was saying. It's not like a biblical thing. You're enough to be accepted by God, but you are not enough without God. So, like I said, I'm kind of having to scratch, trying to find as much truth in there as I can. But I will admit, that guy is... You can tell he has a little bit of pride in his voice, but he was at least respectful. A lot of people that are even Christians, like that Jesus guy, there's people that are actual Christians that they are egotistical, basically. They think that they'll collect. And, even I get like that sometimes. So that's something I need to work on, but at least that guy, I don't think he agreed with Charlie, but he was at least respectful about it. He wasn't even like, oh, you're an antichrist, you're what's it called, false prophet. No, he was alright about it. So, well, that's gonna be all for today. I need to get in bed. I need some rest because I'm all sorts of messed up by now. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want me to do it again, just let me know. Have a good one, guys.